Hear ye, they are not like us. Hear ye, they all be making a fuss. The crash daddies told us that the car did not hit, and Trooper Paul couldn't make any of the physics fit. Free Karen Reed, hashtags be flooding out our feed. Justice for Officer John O'Keefe. Free Karen Reed, hashtags be flooding out our feed. 'Cause we all know that Lexus don't have no teeth. It's obvious that Colin A was in that basement, but the MSP never even took his statement. 34 Fairview, the lawn is so small, but 11 people even saw nothing at all. Free Karen Reed, hashtags be flooding out our feed. Justice for Officer John O'Keefe. Free Karen Reed, hashtags be flooding out our feed. 'Cause we all know that Lexus don't have no teeth. Adam Lally, he drones on and on and on. Can never hold a candle to Alan Jackson. The pirouettes, bang bang, I'll fuck you up. The lending of the readers and the red solo cups. Free Karen Reed, hashtags be flooding out our feed. Justice for Officer John O'Keefe. Free Karen Reed, hashtags be flooding out our feed. 'Cause we all know that Lexus don't got no teeth. Juliana Nagel said she saw a black blob. Along came Canton Lucky, he was just doing his job. He took the stand and he stood his ground. So tell us why that Ford Edge has never been found. 220 Tesman, she made that search. Hoes long to die in cold, turtles even got merch. Was it raining then, or was it actually snowing? And what the fuck was Brian Higgins' white Jeep plowing? He's got no game, he made us all cringe. JJ Jenna Cable, she is clearly unhinged. Free Karen Reed, hashtags be flooding out our feed. Justice for Officer John O'Keefe. Bukkake, the apron, kill me now. High top tables, basketball, and a Frankenstein plow. 1210, crystal light, and the leather cracker. Get off my fucking lawn, Life 360 app tracker. Free Karen Reed, hashtags be flooding out our feed. Justice for Officer John O'Keefe. Free Karen Reed, hashtags be flooding out our feed. 'Cause we all know that Lexus ain't got no teeth. Free Karen Reed.
Reasonable doubt, scream into silence. War in the courtroom, verdict or violence. Your gavel deals in blasphemy. Mr. Jackson, ask it differently. Auntie Bev, we know your game. Hanky Brennan has no shame. The lies you thought were told in stealth, corruption through the Commonwealth. Sidebar, sidebar, pull up, bitch. Sidebar, sidebar, which is which? Dream team got this.
Hey, Shorties. Yikes. Oh, Poppy says, wow, it's exciting. It's Garrett Reed Eve Trial Eve. Hi, the dogs are. Hi. So that's our song chat. Good God, Poppy. I've created a monster, but nobody wants to see Poppy panting and scratching at my arms. Hi, Shorties. Let me just change the backdrop. Hey, Bussy. Bussy's far more calm. That's better. Hi, chat. Firefly. Welcome to new members. Poppy, for the love of God. Hi. Oh, my goodness. She's getting worse, chat. I just wanted to say, by the way, I watched both of our episodes last night on Replay Crew. Hi, Replay Crew. And I realized that it looks when I do this like maybe I'm about to hit Poppy. I'm not. I would never. It's me just getting my hand out of the way of her freneticism. Hang on. Pig's ears. How very DNA of us. Excuse me. One for you. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Serenity now. Serenity now. And on that note, yes. Okay. So the storm. Who is ready for this trial? Speaking of Firefly, are we ready? I mean, we have to be, don't we? We're as ready as we're going to be. Hi, Simmy. Hi, Motion to Scream. What the fuck, granted. Love that shirt. Thank you. It's from that epic Shein order. The unboxing, the unbagging. I'm going to try and wear pink every night of our recaps for the Karen Reed trial. So I hope you like pink. Princey's here. Hi, Princey. Kathy Beans. Hello. Kathy, do I say Beans or Bennis? I'll just call you Kathy, but I'd love to know. Wild Wes. Hi. Smarter Hari's in the house. I see. Wait. Everyone's saying hi, so you must be here. One more sleep, Shorties. Freedom awaits us all. I love that, Micah. Currently watching Plevin. Oh, Plevin. Did you forget the P? I don't know how you can do that. Yikes. Sup. Excuse me. Let me clear my throat. Yikes. So that was the song we all wrote together last night. I love that you metalheads love it. I sent hi Akasha. I saw you in green, by the way. Akasha also joined. Wait. And why isn't it in this chat? Anyway, welcome to members, Akasha. I sent the top two into the mod chat and was like, can someone just pick which one we're using? Because it just sounds neat. I wouldn't pick either of them with all due respect. Back in the day, maybe 35 years ago. Yes. But so anyway, Kathy's excited. The suspense is killing us. Well, I mean, almost 1 year to the day since the beginning of the first trial, which I think we can all agree we thought would be, based on what we watched unfold in front of us in the courtroom, like a no-brainer for the jury. I know I thought, surely the jury's going to see what we see and like unanimously acquit Karen Reed on all charges. But no. Princey, we're almost there, girl. Loved the metal ballad. You did do it earlier. I saw that. 8:30 a.m.-ish my time. Yes. It's like New Year's Eve. I sense it. I mean, New Year's Eve can be a bit of a letdown. So hopefully I can deliver. So, first things first. Hi, Replay Crew. Thank you so much for watching on the replay. I'm also Replay Crew. Oh, Nick. Oh, my God. Rude. Hi, Nick. Good Lord. Sorry. Hi, Nick. Oh, highest esteem, sir. Highest esteem. I also did Firefly. I was one. I got myself on a big hill and said 3.5 hours minimum. Boom. Thank you, Princey. How wrong we were. Replay Crew. If you would like to watch the live chat on your handheld device, like your iPad, your iPhone, your Android. Sorry, I'm an iPhone girl all the way. You can. All you need to do is swipe left on the comment tab and it will give you the option to watch the live chat replay instead. Nick, highest esteem. we only have the highest esteem for Nick. How was Bikram yoga yesterday, Nick? Tell us. Do tell. Do tell. Hang on, oh my God, the scrolling of it all. I'm the worst. I'm literally the worst.
I mean, good for them. I'm happy. But I just want to make sure that I am still held in the highest esteem of the system. It's not a deal breaker, but I'd like to know. Thank you.
Also, wait, I think I saw Steph. Hi, Steph. Sorry. And thank you,
I
Steph,
hate
for
that
this
man.
one.
I truly hate him.
I have 2 words. Do it. Do it. I'd love that.
Sorry, I realized I just needed to clear my throat. Standard. Salty Sleuth. Hi, Salty. Good to see you. Salty's going to be coming on to Camp Shorty with me on Saturday night, your time, my Sunday, the last night of 10 Nights of Shorty, and we're going to have a good old chit-chat about the first 4 days of trial together. Salty is much like a juror in this imminent trial. She knows bits and pieces, didn't watch the first trial. So a bit like all of the jurors seated, 9 and 9, thanks, Princey, she doesn't have much knowledge other than stuff from mainstream media and snippets along the way. So I'll be really interested to talk to Salty after the first 4 days of trial and see what she's thinking. And we'll check in with Salty over the, what? I'm predicting 8 weeks. 8 weeks. So we'll check in with Salty over the time, that the duration of the trial, right? Can't wait, Salty. 7 Eastern, which is 9 Melbourne time. My brain. It was very hot and my flexibility is compromised. Also, someone near me farted and I think I got blamed. Nick, yoga pushes it out. Right. Smarter Harry says real girls are never fully dressed without their lipstick. IMO. I've got a little bit of an addiction to lip liners, always have. I just have replenished my supply with a few more, and this is one of them. Thank you so much. Thank you. Nothing like highlighting my ludicrously large lips. Totally natural. Nick the Shark and Horror. Do we? Okay, I was listening to Salty and Joe Schmo just before from Friday, and Salty told Joe how to do a poll. So I took note because I don't know how to do a poll. So I'm going to have a little play around with it in the back end. What? And see whether I can create some sort of poll. It might be about lip liner. Who knows? Jokes. Hey, so gavel to gavel, Simmy, Booyakasha. Led Zeppelin, greatest rock band of all effing time. Fucking time. I was appalled. Brooklyn, hi. Brooklyn. Is everyone watching Gavel to Gavel or opening Proctor McAlberts and closing? Gavel to Gavel, girl. We live, breathe. Hi, Buster. Buster's going to probably not watch it, but yeah, Gavel to Gavel for me. Gavel to Gavel. Probably ×2 if there's time enough. Akasha says mascara and eyeliner for me. I use chapstick. Lipstick is too much work to maintain and I'm a damn mess. Yes, in the day, all I wear is, at like in my peasant work, all I wear is mascara, SideBAHHH. But here, like you all told me last night, what, Shorty, you're wearing makeup? Just lipstick. I wake up like this. Yikes. Gavel to Gavel. Salty says, I love Buster. Same. I love them both. Poppy pushes the boundaries of my calm blue oceans. She's a bit of a crazy loon. So that. You are putting some awesome music and words together. Thank you. I've got more songs itching in my brain. And we're back on the song train. What are we talking about now? Oh, is John Bonham from Led Zeppelin. Fun fact, I went to the same school as John Bonham. Look at you go. You're so famous. Internet problems this morning for Brit. Brit, that sucks. Oh, I noticed in last night's stream that we were having a bit of buffering in the Finding Your Joy. Sorry about that. I didn't notice at the time. It only came back on the replay. Also, mods, I'm time stamping tonight. So thank you so much for all of the phenomenal timestamps from Steph, Shelley, and what the fuck? Motion to screen, what the fuck? Love your work. I'm doing tonight. Poppy has brat in her eyes. Poppy is autistic. Can diagnose, Princey. Poppy is me in canine form. Like actually. So I really can't be too hard on her. I don't pant like that. Like rarely. She's like that all the time, for the love of God. Hi, Candy. Good to see you. Oh, 100%. No, but Poppy, they do. But Poppy is like, they can sense the excitement. I guess they can feel my energy building, ready for this. And yes, treats. And also they know they'll have me as a literal captive audience. Like, I'm here. I'm not going to be walking around. I'm right here. They know all of it. Taking care of your planties. Don't lose your phone. Simi says my dog is me in canine form too. So what are we doing tonight? 18 minutes in. Can intro. Let's get to the point. Firstly, we're going to send crossed fingers and thoughts and prayers to the gods of copyright strikes. I don't think this is going to be a copyright strike issue because it's on YouTube's. But we'll see. If for some reason I get a warning, we'll have to pivot and maybe we'll write another song instead. Lord knows I've already gotten one hard copyright strike and have only 2 left. Mr. Meathook. Hi. John Bonham Frankenstein. Wait, what? Sending vibes. Thank you. Taryn used to be our copyright police, and she'd be like, "Don't do it. Don't do it." But we still don't know what's going on with Taryn. So big love to Taryn. 69. 69's in the chat if you've got them. Shall we pull up the screens? What am I talking about? The Ted Daniels interview from February. I had not watched it until just recently. I don't know why. It just didn't occur to me. I'd seen talk about it on the Twitters, and I'm like, okay, yeah, Ted Daniels. And then it came across my YouTube. I think the full interview. It's 1 hour, 11 minutes and 49 seconds. I'm sure we can drag that out to like 3 hours. Just play the video. So that, guys, can you not? Like, seriously, I'm a professional. Let me see. What have we got here? Oh, I fiddled around with, it looks okay. Hi, Bussy. I love you very much. You're such a sweet boy. Hang on a second. Thanks for all the 69s in the chat. I love you all very much. Like I do. I love you all very much. I had a fair few crying moments last night. Sorry about that. I did watch those 2 streams over and was delighted. It was like watching as a viewer. It wasn't like, I'm such a fucking weirdo. I'll fix this layout in a second. This was for our songwriting last night. Okay. So I'll keep an eye on my emails because they send you a Gmail alert going, "Oi, this is copyright. Warning, warning." None of that. Thanks, NBC5. What is it? 25. Boston 25. It's going to be a no. Let's not. Quadruple speed.
Full disclosure, we invited you here, but of course it is unusual for someone who's accused of murder to do this interview or others. Why do you want to speak to the people of Massachusetts and beyond?
I have nothing to hide. My life is in the balance, and it shouldn't be. And I believe sunlight is the best disinfectant, and that's been our team motto since inception. I think the more I've seen, the more information the public has, the more they understand what we already know.
And when we talk about the public, there's so much going on in the atmosphere of this case. How much of that do you pay attention to?
I pay attention a little bit to everything. The parts of the public that seem a little dirtier than others, I have close friends and people I trust that filter through it, because there are threads of important information in every channel of the public on social media, just out and about in Norfolk County or in Suffolk.
I love her so much. I love her so much.
Through our emails. So what I can't manage or don't want to manage, we have a lot of it covered from people that we trust and people who support us.
People said some pretty nasty things about you online. Do you read that? Do you process that?
I read some of it. I don't take it to heart, but it's bothersome. But I understand why it is. There are bad, evil, nefarious players in this. There are people who are adverse to other people in this.
Brooklyn, that's a really good question. Is Boston 25 pro or anti Karen Reid? I feel, well, watching this interview, I think Ted Daniels did a pretty good job. It doesn't feel dateliney or you know, what's the other one? 2020. In terms of editorializing, it's pretty. It seems to be an uncut interview. Turtle Boy did sort of call out Ted Daniels and maybe Sue O'Connell for not talking about or acknowledging his recent investigative journalism piece, Canton Cover Up, episode number 505, for not acknowledging the jury tampering issue that Aiden's brought to light. But I don't know, because I don't know further than that. Locals, any message? What are you called? Massholes? Any massholes? No. What's the affiliation with Boston 25? Is there one
in this whole case? People who support me, and I've known my whole life, as does everyone, that there's not a lot of good in some people, and it doesn't drag me down in any way. It makes me feel like we're covering ground here. The nastier it gets, the more I know that we're making an impact to people that have a lot to worry about.
Sorry, Ted. Mr. Meathook says, most like Ted Daniels. I don't trust him. That's just me. He's got that slick journalist or slick like interviewer look about him. I don't know enough about him. I think I follow him on Twitter, but I don't do the Twitter very often. So interesting. I mean, maybe not knowing all that, you know, all the sort of the local history on people like Ted Daniels or any of those folk. Like I'm in Australia. I don't know.
3 years have now passed since John's death. How much do you think about him with everything else that is going on?
I think about him in terms of his final days, his final weeks. I mean, we have his cell phone, which a cell phone to anyone is like a diary, and it tracks everything you've done. And I've gone over and over his final movements,
I haven't watched Turtle Boy for a long time either, Simi, for no reason other than, well, 2 reasons. I don't have time. I'm watching other things. 3 reasons. And for a little while there, it got kind of, I don't know, it felt a little bit like he was just, it got a little bit, you know, gossipy over the back fence for my liking. I don't love drama and gossip, and I don't know if I love some of the spraying of, even though we're kind of agreed on all these McAlbert's characters, this community, as being complicit and or culpable in the death of Officer John O'Keefe. I don't love doxing stuff. I don't love it. So I don't know. I have been a big fan of Aiden, still am, and I have a feeling I'll probably be what's the word? I keep wanting to say cashing in. That's not the word. Checking in. I'll be watching his stuff over trial because he's a great hype man. He's a great hype man. Great hype man. It's gotten better. Yes, Kathy. I know for a while there, a lot of the Karen Reid channels, you know, exclusive Karen Reid sentences. A lot of the exclusive channels were really struggling to get some content. I mean, we stopped doing Karen Reid stuff for about 5 or 6 weeks because, I mean, I'm not interested in just content for content's sake. And we covered the ASAP Rocky trial instead. And then we came back on in the lead up to this second trial. I think it's been quite valuable. The top 10 moments shows we've done have been fun and good. We've written a song. No grift. We ain't got no grift.
His heart rate, his injuries, the time that he did everything that day and the days leading up to it. But I've said this to other people. The time that I spent with John, 2 years, it's now been 3 since he's gone, since he was killed.
Sucks and
And I'm
swallows.
a year
Princey.
beyond. I've eclipsed the time that I spent with him. And I have very mixed feelings, you know, when I look back on John, because I see a lot of poor decisions that were all precursors to his death and to this nightmare that I'm living. So it's
Poor decisions by whom?
by both of us. Just drinking, being around the wrong people is chief among them. Wrong people for the weeks leading up. They wouldn't have been people I would have chosen on my own to be around.
Have you been able to?
Have you watched this already, Princey? Because I haven't watched. Probably doing a big drink. I haven't watched the other ones, the Dateline or the excuse me, what's the one with the 5-part that just came out on Hulu or whatever. Probably that's a big drink. I don't mind it. Like I don't mind it. I love her more. I mean, maybe it's because I'm all in for Karen Reid. Would turn gay for Karen Reid. I'm sure she wouldn't love to hear that. I don't think it's too bad. She didn't say anything we don't know yet. Exactly. We'll see. Tell us what you think along the way. What do you think?
Start a new social life, a new dating life since this?
No, I have my friends that were always in my life. I'm closer to them than ever. And it's been kind of a bittersweet silver lining is I don't know that I ever would have known my friends and family had this in them to be there for me in this way. So I feel very fortunate.
Holly!
And I've met so many new people. And that's enough of a life for me right now is, you know, we go out for dinner just to get out, and we end up just kind of hungered down over a table discussing the case. And I value their input, and I'm content with my social life, even though it's really just socializing about the case.
How?
Candy says, I'm concerned Spanky will pass her words. He absolutely will. But if there's ever a defense team to cross-examine on that and show the other side, it's the dream team, right? I have faith.
How big is Karen Reid's inner circle?
My inner circle, well, half of it's my attorneys who would just talk so much. There's always so much ground to cover, and we can't wait until trial starts to really begin strategizing or going through the details. We do a little bit every day.
Do a lot every day.
We do yeah, I know, I should say we do a little bit in proportion to the total task at hand, but we cover a lot of hours every day. I probably talk to Alan and Liza each 3 or 4 times a day. And I think it makes us all feel good that we're going to be that much more prepared when we have to do this for round 2. But my inner circle, I don't know. It's bigger than it was. It's bigger than it was before, but it feels stronger than it ever was. I know that I can trust the people that I chose to have in my life.
Is that 5?
Pause. So here's another thing, because I haven't watched really any of the specials, the docu-series, etc. of Karen, and I haven't even really watched much news clips. The most news clips I've watched about this, and even then Karen doesn't speak that often. I love watching Karen actually speak. Mesmerizing, right? I like that she kind of has a slightly off the way she speaks, the way her mouth forms her words is not entirely symmetrical. Same. So I love her even more. Epic says, Holly, I tell you, I will scream free Karen Reid and love Too Shorty all day, every day. Holly just said before, here it is. Holly was a little bit late. You're allowed. But in my defense, my 80-year-old mom and my sister were jamming to free Karen Reid music by it's me, us. Swear on my life, it was great. That sounds amazing. I've got more songs itching in my brain myself. I think I'll end up making another music playlist purely of Karen Reed stuff. Why not? Poppy, can you not with the scratching? Sidebar, pull up, bitch. Is Dave here? Dave's channel, boom. How's your hangover, sir?
10 maybe.
Okay.
Really, really tight, it's probably 5.
Alan, have you ever had a client who's advocated for themselves as much as Karen does?
Not as articulately or as intelligently as Karen does. Karen is an innocent woman falsely accused. She could sit back and say, go handle this. You're the professionals, go deal with it. That is not in her personality. And we're a better team for it. She has an encyclopedic knowledge of literally every single page of the discovery. I've never seen anything like it. She has an analyst's brain. She's got a rapier intelligence.
Pause. Sorry, Alan Jackson. Nick says, I have no idea why she did any interviews, to be honest. I appreciate she wants to talk, but I'm surprised AJ agreed to it. I have a feeling that Karen Reed and I are similarly spirited in our conviction, no pun intended, to speak our truth. And I don't think that anything any of her attorneys could have said to Karen would have, I'm sure they advised her against it. And when she said, well, pull up, bitch, we're doing these, they were like, okay, well, just let us be there. Like, for fuck's sake, Karen. I see you, I hear you. EDB feels the same. You have a right. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have a right to say nothing. Karen chose to speak, and I respect her for it. Watch this. This is such an inspiring interview. Like I'm normally listening to YouTube. I've said this before. I was just sitting here going, watching it going, wow. So much respect for Karen. Good on her.
Intelligence that is attendant to this type of analysis.
Hi, Butterfly.
Very, very smart, very motivated.
Good to see
she
you.
has no off button. I'm getting texts. I wake up, I'm on the West Coast.
This bit.
So I wake up, she's been awake for 3 hours, and nearly every day I feel like,
thanks, bro.
Damn it, I've fallen back again. I've fallen behind again. Liza and I have to sort of get back on the treadmill and catch up with where Karen is today, because she'll literally just pick something out of the blue. To me, it's out of the blue. To her brain, it makes sense for her to pull this document or pull this report and say, well, have we thought about this paragraph or this sentence or this word in this report here or there? And then we gather together as a team, me and David and Liza and Karen will get on the phone and talk it through. So she's been, more than any other client I've ever seen, any other client I've ever met, she's been at the center of her own defense. She knows she didn't do this. She's motivated to make sure that the truth comes out.
Has she made any seminal decisions in this case? Have we seen any filings that are directly from her decision and her thought process of how things should play out?
The better question is, have we seen any filings that she didn't have a seminal investment in, a decision about, a suggestion about? Every single thing that you've ever seen filed in this case has gone through Karen, at least I mean, some of them are hyper legal, right? But she's educated herself on, she'd make a better lawyer than most lawyers these days. But she will have an impact, and she's got a seat at the table in terms of strategy and tactics that we use every single day.
There are so many people.
Ted Daniels, Mr. Meathook, I thank you. I'm already you're in the draw for next drawing on Saturday night. Mr. Meathook is asking, and thank you, sir. Let me just play. I don't know. We're going to have to choose our sound effects wisely these days because there's so many bloody good ones. But let's start with this one.
I'll take any motherfucker's money if he giving it away. Shit.
Thank you so much, Mr. Meathook, for your super chat. Missed open. So sorry. Does that mean you missed our sidebar? Like, what's the something core something metal song that we wrote together last night in Camp Shorty? Anyway, we'll play it again. Don't you worry about that. Missed open. So sorry if discussed already, but Miss Shorty, what's your schedule for covering the case? Well, I'm glad you asked. Thank you. We will be doing recaps every night for tomorrow night, till Friday. So for the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday nights, your time. Buster, I'm trying to be professional. Because I've had 10 days off work, Mr. Meathook. Spanner in the works with the whole jury took an extra week to seat. Rude. Hello, 10 Nights of Shorty. So then on Saturday night, Salty Sleuth Investigates and I are going to have a chat, and because she doesn't really know the case at all. So that's this Saturday night, this coming, and then from then on, it'll be back to regular Camp Shorty scheduling in terms of Friday, Saturday nights in the States, Saturday, Sunday in Australia, where we'll be doing recaps as best we can of the there'll be long live streams, mods, warning, recapping the week because I have to work. The time difference is also a bitch, Mr. Meathook. For me to watch opening statements or the start of court tomorrow, I'll have to be up at 11:15 p.m. I got myself 9 hours sleep last night just to be in readiness because chat, shorties, we aren't going to be getting much sleep for the next 8 weeks. I don't think any of us.
Who have never met you, but are so invested in your life and the outcome of this case. I know there are some who adamantly support you, but do you ever worry about your safety with the people who do not want to see you succeed in this case?
I did more earlier on. I feel more insulated now.
Sorry, Karen. I'll try not to interrupt. I try to wait till the break till Ted Daniels asks another question. I did tell you yesterday that last night that the song, the project we did together last night, writing that SideBAHHH song together, was challenging my brain. Tired. I got to bed at 8 p.m. and woke up at 5 with just one little break. It was great. Beautiful sleep. Thank you for asking.
And now I feel safer that people know, because if anything ever happened to me or someone that I love, I think a lot of people would know where to look. So that makes me feel safer.
Have you received any credible threats?
Yep, I have. There's been some online that just the fact that someone's brazen enough to even post something like that gives you some insight into their stability or lack thereof.
People showing up at your house, calling your private cell phone?
No, that has not. I've really not had my physical boundaries impinged in any way.
Thank goodness.
Nor have my parents.
What about Carl Dougal?
I think by and large, very large, there are very friendly people all around me.
Your defense strategy is the most aggressive I've ever seen in a case. You've taken on the DA, you've taken on the judge. How much of that is Karen Reed? How much is that the team?
Probably equal parts. The defense strategy comes down to probably 3 or 4 words: get the truth out.
Woo!
That's the defense strategy. It may be more aggressive than you're used to. The conduct in this case is more dire than I'm used to. I've seen a lot of cases. I've been doing this for 30 years.
Do it.
I don't think I've ever seen a case.
Do it. I'd love that.
Sorry.
With as many questions, as many suspect actions, and as much suspect conduct as I've seen in this case. There is unequivocally corruption in this case. There are absolutely cover-ups in this case. There's conduct by law enforcement and the DA's office that the likes of which I've never seen. And my job, our job as a team, is to get that truth out. I'm not going to sit idly by. Our team is never going to sit idly by and let an innocent woman be convicted based on false evidence, false pretenses, cover-ups, agreements and decisions on the other side to hamstring the defense, hamstring our ability to get the truth out. I'm not going to sit idly by to do that. So is it aggressive? Sure, it's aggressive. But a woman's life is in the balance.
Boom.
So yeah, we're going to stay aggressive. We've been aggressive. We're going to stay aggressive until the truth comes out.
I think it was 4.
Sorry, Ted. Smarter Hari says, my understanding is that her family felt keeping her in the public eye was safer than hiding her. Absolutely. Again, I bet you they're used to what 46 years or however old Karen is now, 47 years of having Karen be doing exactly what she being determined to do whatever she's going to do. I mean, she took a long time to sort of publicly comment in chats. Wasn't she in JFK's chat? Took her, a long time. So she wasn't interacting. There was still that fourth wall. Obviously, she was interacting at standouts and out the front of court. Lovely. I'd love to meet Karen Reid. The dogs are having play fights. They're grab assing over here. Karen looks great. She has had a horrible go 1.0 with corrupt folks testifying, lying on the stand. Agreed. I froth over Karen Reid. Just saying. I think she's gorgeous. Inside and out.
At the
And
end of the
innocent.
last trial, and it was, I'm going to declare a mistrial. What was that like for you to take in?
I'm going to have to watch
It was the
Princey.
outcome that I had thought about the least. I had thought about the best case scenario,
Hi,
and
Pat.
I always think about the worst because that's how I'm able to process. I have to think it through. How will I deal with this? Who will fight for me if I'm not sitting here to fight for myself? And of course, I thought about an acquittal because I know I deserve it. I had not really thought about a mistrial. It was only a couple days. It was like day 2, the end of day 2 into the deliberations, that both David and Alan told me separately when we were in the church next door that this could be a mistrial. And the prospect of that at that time during jury deliberations was a gut punch. But then when it was declared, it was such a relief that I was free. I was free to sleep in my own bed, hug my parents, continue to work on this case. My immediate next worry was, I hope I have my team available to go to battle all over again. But those moments, waiting to hear 12 strangers determine what is going to physically happen to you for the foreseeable future or forever, when you're able to walk out a free woman or man, it was an incredible relief. You just see your life it can just be taken away from you.
As we head to the second.
Micah says, KK, I'm back. Or just K, I'm back. Apparently, when you ask Plevin's chat to pay attention to what evidence they have that proves a taillight shattered and killed Officer John O'Keefe, they say you lack common sense. I think you lack common sense for going in there, but that's your thing. What the fuck says Micah? No. Oh no! Don't dive in that crazy pool. You'll catch the crazy.
Second trial, one of the possible outcomes here could be a conviction. That could be prison time. How much have you thought about that?
I think about it every day, about prison time, and it doesn't frighten me the way it did 3 years ago. I was arrested 3 years ago tomorrow, and I've been in jail twice as a result of this prosecution. I've now accepted the fact that what's happening to me and the awareness this case has raised and the eyes it's opened, that is what my purpose is in Massachusetts and whatever effect this has in other parts of the country. And even if a jury got it wrong or there's even more nefarious behavior on behalf of this prosecution, then just even more awareness will be raised. So I can accept whatever happens. Nothing will ever get the best of me or break me down.
Hi, Trial Channel. Good to see you. Cooking, listening and cooking. What are you cooking, girl? Stealing yourself for a couple of months of intense editing, delivering us a defluffed, time-stamped, and serialized per witness playlist of Karen Reid 2.0. Everybody, if you haven't subscribed to the Trial Channel, what are you doing with your lives? What's going on? Please do. The fastest growing channel on YouTube. Amazing. Rising Seas Lift All Ships. Give her a subscribe. Go join. Become a paying member. Do super thanks. Like, she's doing huge work, meticulous, tedious, time-consuming, skilled work. So I'm a member of the trial channel. You should be too. And drop a super thanks. I drop a super thanks every week for the trial channel. It's not much, but it's a little bit, right? Do it. What am I going to say? Well, I fucking missed the money there, didn't I?
I have 2 words. Do it. Do it. I'd love that.
I'd love that. Do it for Shorties. Rising seas lift all ships. Fuck.
There have been sort of these unsubstantiated claims in the atmosphere that there might have been some funny business with the jurors who were dismissed.
Right.
Is this a real concern that you have? Is this something that you
Hi, Cheryl with an S.
looking
I didn't
at,
see you,
or
but I
have
see
just
you there.
dismissed it
Hi.
as rumor?
I'll never just dismiss that as rumor. Something like that is, it's too convenient for the prosecution for us to just dismiss out of hand.
Pause. Please, pish posh. Haha, don't join if you can't afford to. I don't have perks. And Lisa, you're too generous. So here's the thing. Sidebar. Important sidebar. I personally don't expect membership perks from any of the channels that I have a paying membership for. In my opinion, and I think I'm gonna preach here. Like, let me have a little rant. I've said this before, but it's been a while. Live streaming is hard work. It's costly. It's time consuming. Time is money. Video editing, please. This is to use it as an Australian colloquialism, this is a piece of piss what I do compared to what you do, the trial channel. Why should you work for free? Why should I work for free? Like, you and I are both providing hours of entertainment and information that's invaluable. I mean, maybe not mine. Maybe mine isn't invaluable. Yours is. Perks, pish posh on the perks. Psh, like pish posh on the perks. Super thanks, super chats, super stickers, memberships, paid memberships, gifting memberships is such a beautiful way to show one's appreciation for the time, effort, commitment, and passion that any creator puts into putting their stuff onto the YouTubes. Who other than charity work, and I mean, we do charity work here, right? But no, I think if anybody can afford a couple of dollars, which is all mostly any membership is. I think Grizzly True Crime is the most expensive membership I pay for, which is like $8 Australian. Happy. She's amazing. I have quite a lot of memberships. If you can afford a couple of dollars, you really should, because it makes such a difference. Like I basically run at a loss here at Camp Shorty. Like, I really do. I know it might not seem that way, but even when I am making some decent money, like we donate a lot to Garrett Reed lately, right? And I'm just saying, if you can afford it, like, it's so much appreciated. But yeah, you get some members only emotes in my chat. I don't do really any members only streams because I don't really want to preclude anybody who can't afford to miss out on our time. Plus, my time is very limited with usually Friday and Saturday nights for Camp Shorty, where I'm blessed to have had this time off from my peasant work to do this. So that's my rant on people supporting channels financially rather than just absorbing it all, consuming the content without giving back in some way other than in our community. I get so much out of the community, the love. Like my heart is full every time we live stream, every time. That's all. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Next.
Do I have any evidence, specific evidence, that there was jury tampering? I don't have any specific evidence of it. Do I think that there are questions that should be asked? Do I think that there are questions that have been raised about the way the jurors were dismissed, and who was dismissed very specifically? There were jurors who very, very clearly throughout, it's impossible to sit 8 feet away from 12 or 15 folks and not get an idea, just a chemistry idea of where those jurors are one way or the other based on certain, body language. And facial expressions, etc., sighs and huffs and arm folds and leaning forward, leaning back, things of that nature based on certain witnesses. It's interesting that 3 of probably the most stalwart jurors who we believed, and I will go to my grave believing, were very supportive of the defense, ended up cast aside within minutes, not days or hours, within minutes of the jurors deliberating. Within minutes of me standing up and giving my final summation, those 3 jurors were gone. So is that a query? Absolutely. Have I dismissed it? I'll never dismiss it. Is there anything to do about it? Not so sure.
One of the state troopers who was involved with the Norfolk DA's office and on the periphery of the investigation was also responsible for the jury?
Right. He wasn't that far on the periphery of the investigation. He was involved in the investigation. He was a direct supervisor over the individuals that were testifying and over and about whom we had leveled some very, very serious claims and ended up proving those claims during the course of direct and cross-examination, the presentation of our case. That person, that supervisor, we found out well into the trial. As a matter of fact, at the end of the trial, we found out is the very person who was governing the jurors. That's a question that should be raised. That is an issue that should be teased out. Should never, ever happen. That is the very definition of a conflict of interest.
Is that standard in Massachusetts?
Pause. Oh my God, my mouse just, anyway, it's not very seamless, but you know me, I'm a professional. Hi, Clay, good to see you. Judicial misconduct. Yes, that's hard to say. But yes, hi. And I just realized just now that I missed Pammy. I don't think she's here right now, but she sent me a coffee 2 nights ago, a couple of coffees the other night. So Pammy, I love you. So sorry I missed you. You're in the draw. Clay, you're in the draw as well for merch next week and Saturday. Missy says, I can't wait for opening statements tomorrow. Same girl. Same. Speaking of TED Talks, Miss Shorty, I envision Karen traveling the world speaking on this trial and advocating for the wrongly accused. She'll make it to Australia. I hope so. I'd like for Karen to write a book and narrate it. We'll see. I'm sure she'll do all the things once she's freed. Karen freed, right? Holly sent a coffee. Well, I just looked at that and it didn't show me. That's why I looked. Holly always sends coffee. I love you, Holly. Holly, I'm in the blue bubbles. Ha ha. It's going to be good. If you want to watch your coverage of the Karen Reid trial starting tomorrow, Justice Serve TV is a place. Salty Sleuth's going to be covering it. ADB, Andrea Burkhart. Give Justice Serve TV a watch. Smaller channel, fast growing, almost as fast as the trial channel. Drawing. Yes, Princey. I've got everybody in the draw. Thank you. But thank you.
Massachusetts for just the DA's office to assign whoever they want to go be the sort of,
supervisor.
But there's no coffee from right now from
Holly. Is it standard?
That's not I'm not fishing for a coffee.
I've never seen that in my life. But if I had a nickel for every time I said I've never seen this in my life as it pertains to the Massachusetts justice system, the criminal justice system, I'd have a lot of nickels. I've never seen that happen. It should never have happened. It's abhorrent to the system of justice in which we work. Those kinds of conflicts of interest they just can't stand. But they did, and we weren't even told about it. I mean, that was one of the most galling parts of that revelation is that wait, this has been happening under our nose the entire trial, and I'm just now finding out about it. We would have made hay about it as soon as we found out, and we did. But it was 10 minutes before I was about to stand up and close the case.
Some of the things that Michael Proctor said about you were objectively vicious. What was it like to be there in court and listen to
I don't think
all
everybody
those texts?
Just saying.
Another relief. So many moments in court were a relief to me because I've known these things in some cases for years and had to keep it amongst our inner circle. Nothing Michael Proctor texted and admitted out loud in court
I hate that
about
man. I truly
me
hate him.
would ever offend me. I'm proud of my overcoming of health crises. Proctor was just letting the public know what I've known about Michael Proctor, who he really is. And it's just luck that, as I know it, Michael Proctor doesn't have a daughter. But those text messages, as vile as they are, I think are the least of his offenses.
Alan, you could have had Michael Proctor read one or two of the text. You spent hours having him read those out loud. I'm sure that was done by design.
It was. It was. Everything that we did in that cross-examination of Michael Proctor was done by design. I wanted to make sure that I had an audience of 12 folks, an undefined 12 folks sitting in that jury box who were going to make a judgment about, not just about Karen Reed, they were going to make a judgment about the prosecution and about the investigating officer in charge of the prosecution or in charge of the investigation. They needed to see and hear a full panoply of who this person really is and get down to the fabric of the human being. That's the only way they could assess the veracity of the entire investigation. As goes the investigating officer, goes the investigation. And the prosecution, the Commonwealth, wanted to hide that. They wanted to mask it. They didn't want to give those data over to us. They didn't want to give those texts to us. They tried mightily in front of the court to get those suppressed. Why? Because as goes the investigator, goes the prosecution. The texts were vile. They were disgusting. They were not just as Michael Proctor tried to slough them off, regrettable. Regrettable, Mr. Proctor? Seriously? That's the best you can come up with in terms of the things that you're saying and the bias that you're showing about a criminal defendant and accused who has yet to be convicted of anything? That's the best you can say is it's regrettable. It's far beyond regrettable. It's disgusting. It's disturbing. That man should not ever carry a badge. That man should not ever carry a gun. He should never have any authority over the community members ever again.
Are you surprised that he's been fighting for his job?
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah, what
oh my God, the number of times I do that. Goodness gracious. Holly, thank you so much for your coffee. Yes, got you. You're in the draw, DRAW, for Saturday night's Miss Shorty merch draw.
Shit.
Thank you.
He should probably do is put his tail between his legs and get out of the jurisdiction and go find some other line of work, someplace where he can't hurt people.
How will Michael Proctor play in the retrial?
Oh, he's going to play large in the retrial. They can't. Look, the prosecution, I think, probably wants very badly to take some magic eraser, some pixie dust, and erase Michael Proctor from the minds of the public, and certainly not from the minds of the new jury who's going to come in and assess this case. They're not going to be able to do it, not as long as we're breathing. Michael Proctor is going to be a part of this case, whether he likes it or not.
Because they don't necessarily have to call him.
Mr. Meathook, excuse me, says, my roommate supports Karen 100%, but says some people don't care for her because sometimes she has some sort of Joker smirk. I mean, imagine judging someone's character on their physical appearance. Like, that's wild. That's so superficial. I hope you set them straight, man. Mr. Meathook, that's a shitty thing. Society judges people on their appearance so much. I think Karen's stunning. Every face she pulls. Every face.
Colin, but obviously you have a right to call him as a witness.
Correct. And we will. If they don't call him, we will. We're not going to allow the Commonwealth to hide the truth from the last jury or this upcoming jury.
He's touched everything. Everything.
There's no part of the case that he hasn't affected. No part of the case that he hasn't affected.
I like watching Karen's face. You can watch her when you could read her like a book. She's very expressive. You can see the thoughts going through her mind when with the various things they're talking about. I'll drop a link. Have I already? Can't remember. I'll drop a link. I think I didn't because I wanted to be sneaky. I don't know. I'll drop a link to this in the chat, but all you need to do is Google, YouTube search Karen Reed, Ted Daniels interview, and you'll find it. It's the full length one. Cheryl with an S, member for 5 months. Girl, you're 1 month off getting the the cool 6-month member badge. Only a few people have. Stephanie Bloody Blahbity Blah's got one, a few others. But yes, 5 months, cool. Some people can't control their facial expressions. Hi, it's me. When I watch my live streams back, sometimes I'm like, what are you doing with your face there? Your thinking face is a little bit ugly, mate. Ay. See her thinking. Exactly, Princey. Micah says, yeah, I wouldn't kick Karen out of bed for eating crackers. Beggars can't be choosers, can they, Micah? Jokes. Missy says, my face does weird things too. I have resting bitch face and have no poker face because of ADHD with tism traits. Hi, Laura. Good to see you. Same, Missy. Nice. Gotcha. Hey, if you want to see how long you've been a member, just if you go into the super chat button next to the chat bar, you don't have to send money, but it'll show milestone membership chat, and you can drop a message. Do it for free.
Affected. He was in charge of the entire investigation. The personality and the character of the investigation is the personality and the character of Michael Proctor. They're one and the same. And we'll make sure that that's disclosed to the jury.
The feds devoted a lot of time and resources investigating what happened here. We are now years removed from that, and there's been no action taken. Why is that?
Well, I don't know that there's been no action taken. We don't know about any action taken. There's lots of, it's like
but no indictments.
No indictments, but it's like looking at a duck on water, Ted. The duck is very still, it's very stable, but underneath the little flippers are going crazy. I don't know what's happening just beneath the surface. I don't know what's happening. I'm not privy to what the federal investigation is actually where.
Sorry, Alan. Free Karen and justice for John. Yes, Princey. Princey. Hi, Life Artist. Good to see you. Good to see you. Everyone's saying hi. Thanks for coming in. Don't forget to hit the like, everyone.
Where it's going,
or the thumbs down. Same.
It's led to this point. I do know that they were seminal.
That's assault
in providing us with information. And when I say us, it's important to note providing both sides. They didn't pick a side or choose a side in this. They provided everything that they decided was disclosable. They provided to both sides. The Commonwealth decided they didn't want to use it. As a matter of fact, tried mightily to keep us from using it. Thank goodness cooler heads prevailed, and we were able to utilize much of what their investigation or what their disclosure consisted of. But if it hadn't been for them, the Commonwealth had been hiding evidence from us for years. And it wasn't until the federal investigation and revelation came to pass that we actually sort of were able to look behind the curtain, which is where we should have been looking in the first place. So it was central to our presentation of our defense.
Leah Foley will be the third U.S. attorney, as far as we know, who will at least touch this case.
Right.
Do you expect that having a new head of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Boston will change anything?
I don't know. I have been incredibly impressed with the U.S. Attorney's Office in terms of the leadership under Ms. Foley's predecessors. Joshua Levy was central in making certain decisions about what to disclose to us, where the investigation was going. Again, I don't know what the full parameters of the investigation are, but I can say that I was very, very happy with what they did and what they disclosed, trying to get the truth out previously. And I hope Ms. Foley does the same thing. I'm looking forward to her continuing the investigation. I hope she does.
When you look at the scope of the federal investigation and all the things that were done, you received 3,000 pages from that investigation. Are there other things that might have been done or have been done that you think that should also be turned over or could be turned over?
I don't know. Again, Ted, we're sort of operating a little bit in the blind because I don't know what the full contours of the federal investigation consist of. So it's not like I can say, oh, well, they did this, but I don't have that information. I don't know what this is. The only thing that I have is the information that they provided to both sides. And then we culled through it to decide, oh, okay, is this relevant to our case? And nearly every page of it was highly, highly relevant material.
One of the things that the federal government did was hire this outside accident reconstruction
You're very welcome,
team
Frank.
who would have no vested interest in the outcome of this case. How
Candy, member for 7 months. Look at you go. You are building a beautiful community. You know what? It's magical, Candy. It's not really anything to do with me. It's all of you. It's my glorious moderator squad. It's you all and your vulnerability and your passion. I know we do some Karen Reed stuff. We do a lot of other stuff as well. You really won't find a more magical space on YouTube. It just is. Like, it just is. And thank you so much, Candy, for acknowledging that. That was my main goal in starting this channel. Not money, not clicks and views, although they help. Not even necessarily really true crime or Karen Reed. I did not start this channel as a Karen Reed channel. I didn't. It's evolved that way, and we'll be around a long time after Karen is freed. I just wanted to build a beautiful, kind, inclusive, warm, fun, funny, unique, loving community, and here we are. It's magical. It's my new word. It's something really special. So thank you.
How important was those two accident reconstructionists coming in saying no way, no how?
I cannot describe the gravity of those two witnesses. First of all, they were unassailable in terms of their credibility and their credentials. There was nobody who...
Sorry, Alan Jackson, I'll go back to the start of his answer because lol. I'm like, who's Brendan? It could be. I think Hanky Brennan's triggered by a lot of things. I think Hanky Brennan's probably triggered by his own personality, right? He's a piece of shit. Vile. Brennan, yes. Could be. This did air right late Feb, mid Feb this year. Could be. I reckon he's personally triggered by how charismatic Alan Jackson is, how charismatic David Yannetti is, how charismatic Bob Alessi is, all of them. Liza, but the men particularly, Brendan's is about as charismatic as a wet piece of white bread. So could be. And I'll skip back. Sorry about that, chat.
Wow. I cannot describe the gravity of those two witnesses. First of all, they were unassailable in terms of their credibility and their credentials. There was nobody who testified that was more credentialed to talk about the issues that were attendant to them than those two gentlemen, those two doctors, PhDs. The fact that we didn't hire them, they can't be considered hired guns by the prosecution. The fact that the Commonwealth didn't even know their name. They were completely independent third parties who did not know Karen Reed or this case, and they did not know that their assessment was attendant to Karen Reed or this case. Central to their testimony. Completely credible. I can't describe the gravity of those two witnesses and the impact that it had on the trial and getting to the truth. And what they said echoed everything that we had been learning during the course of our investigation on the defense side, which is that car was not damaged by hitting a human body. It did not hit a person.
It did not.
And John O'Keefe was not injured by being hit by a vehicle. No way, no how. It didn't happen. As one of the witnesses testified, the physics don't lie. The science doesn't lie. The car did not make contact with John O'Keefe. She didn't do this.
Karen, when the ARCA information came in,
Laura.
That came in that document dump, I guess, what was your emotion kind of reading what they decided?
I didn't really know the details of it until trial because I did not have the same access to those materials that the attorneys did because of the federal protective order. It was another moment, and there's been so many, that I realized, to put it mildly, how underhanded this prosecution is, that a district attorney can be privy to that accident reconstruction report and continue to pursue this case and not call Drs. Wolf and Rentschler.
Right, they have one job to do. They have one job to do, to seek the truth.
Alan's mad.
They had this information in front of them. As Karen just said, why wouldn't they call them? They should have called them. Their only job is to seek the truth, not to seek a conviction. And the truth is, the physics don't lie. The car didn't hit John. He was
Science and physics and stuff. Brooklyn says Hanky is a very good attorney. His case sucks. The evidence is not there, but he still has a job to do. He does. I don't know if you ever watch any EDB Brooklyn, but he lawyers, he attorneys like a defense attorney. He argues his stuff very much like a defense attorney. He's honestly not arguing very well in the pre-trial motion stuff. We haven't seen him examine witnesses yet, but he does a lot of foot stamping and hyperbolic stuff, a lot like a defense attorney would do, because that's his roots. He's only just a prosecutor, a special prosecutor, right? That's not his normal wheelhouse. So Clay says a 4-year-old could tell you those are dog bites, right? Right. Absolutely. Alan is big mad. Hi, Laura. Good to see you, by the way. Let's not underestimate Hank. I also reckon he's devious and clever. Oh, he's disgustingly devious. That's why the members only emote is a snake for Hank. Hank with a snake. I have grave concerns. I miss the fucking mark every time with that. I have grave concerns about Hank and Bev together. Devious, if that's not the devious duo, I don't know what is. Grave concerns. Please, jury, 9 women, 9 men, please pay attention. Critical thinking caps on.
He wasn't killed by being hit by a car. And they not only did they not seek that truth, they tried to suppress it.
And their version
Absolutely,
of
Frank.
events was almost...
Jim, hi, good to see you.
It was laughable. It was laughable. It was illogical. It just did. The body just landed. The phone just landed.
Sorry, Karen. Simi, zinger, he's a mob attorney defending a Canton mob. Right? Comment of the chat so far, girl. Bingo, you got it.
A side swipe with no bruises. It's not as if they had qualified, credentialed, advanced educated experts to counter, to offer another version of events. They didn't have that, and they chose to ignore that, and they chose to present to the court and to the public in a hearing that those federal materials, 3,000 pages, were 90 to 95% consistent with their theory of the case. The theory of the case is a car accident. The federal materials included a report that said there wasn't a car accident.
Yes, Karen.
That's the case.
Yes, Karen.
That's 95% of the case. And it was inconsistent. It wasn't just inconsistent. It was diametrically opposed to the Commonwealth's theory of the case, or lie of the case.
On the
Lie of the case. Nick says, I'm not sure Bev has much time for Hank, though. Agreed. Personally, agreed. She has a vested interest. There's hubris here, Nick. You can work with someone who you don't personally like. She has helped Lally. She helped Lally as I think she could see he was out of his depth. Hank won't get the same protection, in my opinion. I disagree. They're on the same side. Come on now, Bev isn't an impartial judge. Bev is not impartial. I have grave concerns. Just saying. Let's not forget, this is not a regular courtroom in a regular district. The Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, a regular county. Norfolk County's District Attorney's Office is bad to the core from the top, in my opinion. I'm not saying that all the judges or no DAs are doing it. They had to bring in Hanky, right? No one else would try the case. That's the inference there. I think everyone else said, hell no, not touching it, because that is their right. EDB says it all the time. A prosecutor can say, no, not doing it.
The morning of January 29th, 2022, you said it was possible you might have hit John. How could that even be in the realm if you saw him going into the house?
Because it never crossed my mind that the people we were with, middle-aged adults with children, some of the children were with us that night at the bar. It did not cross my mind for several days that they did this to John, that John was treated like a piece of garbage. These were women and men, some I knew better than others, that I knew to be normal people.
New to be.
And I went through every possibility. He was near the road and he was dying. And I didn't think he was purposely put in that place.
In your opinion,
Why did she drink with kids? Which kids? I don't think she did. Adult kids. Now, scrolling back, I'm trying to wait for natural breaking points and not interrupting the flow of the interview because the trial channel says, I had a brain lapse earlier. Same all the time. Like you see it in real time. Streaming and speaking off the cuff and being entertaining? Nightmare for me. Editing is tedious, but I prefer the behind the scenes. My anxiety and cameras don't mesh. Yes, it's still work though, right? Absolutely. I couldn't sit there and do it. I have no idea how to edit a video. I could do shorts. I'm sure I could learn if I put my mind to it. I'm just naturally entertaining, Trial Channel. I'm like this all the time. Lol. Someone put a camera in front of me. My talent is wasted. I'm joking. Oh, wait, there is a camera. Hey, hi, it's me.
opinion, there have been a few names that have surfaced
She
in
wasn't
this
drinking with Colin.
third-party culpability theory. Who do you think, if John was beaten up and attacked in that house, who did it?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And it's not for us to know. Somebody other than Karen is responsible for that,
Night, Holly.
for
Love
the
you.
killing of John. But who it was specifically, others
Love
know,
you too.
and they're not talking.
What is the most important piece of evidence that exists in this case that people could look at and say, hey, there's no way that she could have done this? Is there one thing?
To me, there is. That the only physical evidence connecting me to where John's body was found, which I will not call the crime scene, the only physical evidence, pieces of plastic taillight, were not found until after the state police had possession of that very taillight.
And when you couple that, you're looking for one thing. When you couple that with the testimony of the experts, the third party, absolutely qualified experts.
Yes, Holly. Yes.
That there was no
See you
car
tomorrow.
accident.
I'm getting
The
up at
car
11
did
to watch
not
it with
hit
you all live.
John, and John was not hit by a car.
So the taillight.
So excited.
The taillight pieces, when they were found, and when your car was taken, to you, that is the most crucial element of your defense.
It's closely followed by other evidence, but to me, yes.
You've had a private investigator from the start. Is that private investigator still running down tips, and will we see any new revelations at the retrial?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have not slowed down our investigation one iota. So I expect, I'm not at liberty to say exactly what might be revealed that's new and different in the second trial, but I expect there will be some new information that comes from our investigation as well.
People send you tips?
All the time. All the time. Yeah, the harder part is not getting the tips. The harder part is separating the wheat from the chaff.
Mm-hmm.
What tips are valuable enough to sort of chase down, and which just seem like they're, we'd be chasing our tail. But no, we get tips every single day. The public is very, very interested in getting to the truth of what actually happened to John O'Keefe.
Karen, it's been reported that your
I did a
defense
poll.
is running about $5 million. Is that correct? And how do you pay for that?
Give or take a few million. That's a back of the envelope calculation, and it's certainly no pressure put on me in any way by my attorneys. The longer this goes, the harder they work, the more time goes into it.
How do you pay for that?
Right now,
Pause. This is really interesting, so I'm not going to interrupt. Good night, Holly. We love you very much. Tomorrow, I did a poll. Like, I never knew how to do a poll before, to create a poll for us. But here we are. Thanks. That's applause for myself. You're welcome. Where will I be watching the trial? So Missy Mayhem says, fuck yes. Hey, Sherry Berry, good to see you. You are entertaining. Thanks. Just ask me. Thanks. Now, I don't know if you can switch a mistake. Sorry, you can switch a mistake, but I don't know if you can switch your vote. I'll do another poll in a little while. I guess we're just going to go poll crazy. Simi asked, where are you going to be watching the trial? Are you asking me? Yes, me. I'm Lisa. Hi. The correct answer would be with Justice Serve TV and also Salty Sleuth Investigates. I will probably be jumping in between a fair few channels. When I go back to work, I'll be listening in my earballs to, I'd say, EDB and Justice Serve TV. I do like the commentary from EDB. Watching EDB for me feels like home. But all of the places, I'm a terrible liar. You all should watch it on Justice Serve TV and Salty Sleuth Investigates, because EDB doesn't need the views, right? That's the worst answer ever. All of the channels. I'm so glad you asked. Fuck, Simi. Put me on the spot.
Oh, I'm paying for everything entirely on the charity of supporters. People I know, former colleagues, people, many thousands of people I don't know. I've liquidated my retirement. I've sold my home.
Poor Karen.
And everything else is from supporters, and it's not a small number. It's approaching $750,000, and I hope the supporters and the donors know that this is their defense. They're marshaling this. I could early, but it's been 3 years. I've not had income. I had 2 incomes, now I have none. So I'm just incredibly grateful and appreciative. And it was funny when we launched the defense fund, which Alan helped me do logistically through his firm. I was thanking donors the early days, anything sizable or even small ones, because it's not the nominal amount. It's what people can afford or their intention, and especially from strangers. And I was thanking people, and now I can't, but I just want them to know. I see them all. My family members, my close friends see them, and other supporters see. Our defense fund page has kind of become its own social media, that people look to see what other parts of this country are people closely following and donating to this defense.
She's not working, Holly Berry. No, she hasn't worked the whole time. She can't even drive, man. They took a license that she's not allowed to drive. Sherry Berry says, I have wine fingers. Girl, spirit animal. It's only 11:25 a.m. here, but give me a couple of hours and I will too have wine fingers. I can't tag, but I love you. I love every single one. This is my happy place. Well, thank you for being here, Sherry Berry. You're one of my faves. You're one of my sticker helpers. We've still got stickers, by the way. Let me see. SideBAHHH. Sorry, I'm just reaching. Oh, I'm reaching, just like Hank Brennan, reaching. If you'd like a free Karen Reid sticker, all you need to do is make a direct donation to Karen's Defense Fund. $10 or more will get you a sticker. There's still a few of my helpers from a year ago or so, bit less than, who talk to me because apparently I'm an irresponsible YouTube creator. Such a grifter. Oh my goodness. Shoot me a screenshot of your donation, and you can contact me through the contact us form on the website, missshorty.com, and tell me your postal address, and I'll either send one out to you from Australia, or a few of my helpers, like Sherry Berry's one of them, has still some in the States, including pink envelopes and pink thank you cards with my signature on them. So that. Also, Shorties, remember, we raised in 5 weeks of Top 10 Moments live streams $1,808.07 donated to Karen's Defense Fund. So we are small but mighty, right? Let me see. That's it. Send the woman the song. She's got one of the stickers, Akasha. I don't know. I tried to send my OnlyFan song to Justice for John O'Keefe Facebook page. They don't like me.
My boy Billy
I don't know why. Let's get going with the thing. I hate that man.
I truly hate him.
So it's keeping us going financially, of course, but also emotionally.
It's important to know, not to interrupt, Ted, but it's important to know that although the attorney time involved is in the multi-million-dollar range, probably $6 million between Mr. Yannetti, myself, Ms. Little, other lawyers who have worked on the case, other individuals, investigators, et cetera. Most of us, all of the lawyers, are not getting paid that. We have not taken that money. We're not going to take that money. That's the value that that has amassed.
Did you hear that? So the defense team are working pro bono. When people say, you know, the $1 million isn't going to, they're charging so much, they're such expensive lawyers. Yes, but they're not taking any of that money. This is to pay for the experts. That almost $1 million that has now been donated in total to Karen's defense fund is to pay the experts, right?
Of the legal services that's been
I love them
required
even more.
to mount this defense, but we're not taking the money because she doesn't have the money. And the reason that David Yannetti is doing this, the reason that I'm doing this, the reason that Liza Little is doing this, the reason that Marty Weinberg and Bob Alessi and others are doing this is because it's the right thing to do. None of us are willing to stand by and watch her get railroaded
Great minds think alike.
What by the power of the government when she did not do this. So we have all decided as a team, we will be here for as long as it takes, and we will fight as hard as it takes to make sure that the truth comes out.
You said you received $750,000 roughly in donations. Who would we be most surprised to hear who's donated to you?
I wouldn't disclose that to you, but
they're not charging at all, Princey. They're working pro bono, but obviously the cost of their stay away from home for those 3 months, all their travel and the experts, but they're not taking a wage or a salary, not a contracted, you know, complete amount. What's that called? Brain fart. And certainly not an hourly rate. They're doing it for justice, for Karen.
Well-known, maybe one of the most well-known names
No.
at my former.
I know pro bono. I just said pro bono. The word when they charge just a set fee for the whole thing. That's not pro bono. Pro bono is doing it for nada.
Employer. But as I said, that means just as much to me as someone from Alabama who's given me $25 from her last paycheck.
Does that person's name start with an A?
No, he was, it's a he. And just a little more directly.
Thank you.
involved.
Oh no, a retainer?
He's just gonna keep asking it.
Yeah.
Someone's going to have to Google it. It's not a retainer either. A retainer is when you say, "Will you represent me?" and the attorney goes, "Yes." It's going to just give me $1. That's a retainer. Or here, a $5,000 retainer. That's sorry, I got distracted. Princey says, "No, I don't want it to sound like her defense is free of charge." It's not free of charge, but they're not charging their normal fee to represent her. That's all. It's not pro bono. It's not retainer. Somebody, come on. There's got to be somebody who knows the word. It's in the tip of my brain. But, you know, me. Words. Love them. Can never say the right ones.
Until he figures it out.
Even Jackson
Pammy
likes that one.
certainly has
What the fuck?
money.
I wish, Ted. I wish.
Not a
and that's
retainer.
not for lack of trying on my part.
Thank you.
The largest group of people who've donated to you are your former coworkers.
Not in volume of donors, but in proportion of the actual amount donated. Yeah, about half has come from former colleagues to whom I am incredibly grateful. And it's kind of taken the sting out of no longer being a part of that world and seeing them every day and doing what I love to do, that I'm still connected, and it's a different life that I have now and a different purpose.
Brooklyn,
and
you're a badass.
they're contributing to it.
And it's interesting, the perception that she's got this multi-million-dollar defense and this juggernaut defense. It's just not correct. It's not accurate. Yes, she has a very valuable defense working on her behalf, but the money that the donors and the public are providing, the money that that's being given to the defense fund is paying
Correct,
for
Colours.
the
It
investigators,
didn't start that way.
the expert witnesses, travel for the experts, hotels for the people are flying in from all over the
Trial
country,
Channel.
we have to account for that, a massive amount of logistics, getting people here so that they can testify, getting people here so that they can do the research. If we need to use research attorneys or other staff, that's what that's paying for. It's not paying for legal fees. None of us are taking legal fees.
For the retrial, you're facing a new special prosecutor. Who would you rather face? Is it Adam Lally, who we saw in the first trial, or is it Hank Brennan?
Neither.
I don't care who I face.
Boom.
I have the truth. I have the best attorneys that money is not paying for. Do your worst.
What was your take on how the DA's office performed at the first trial?
How they performed, it felt like they just wore the jury down. It felt like a lot of repetition.
Cool.
I
Was
don't
it snowing?
think
Were there
the
high top
jurors
tables?
saw the lack of injuries to John's body or his right arm for, I want to say it was week 5, but maybe it just felt like week 5 and it was week 3. They were clearly, and I understand why, belaboring insignificant points and barely touching on the biggest parts of the evidence.
Questions that they couldn't answer. They just decided the prosecution had a design. They were just going to try the case by volume instead of by validity.
Put it all out there.
Put everything out there, and the inconvenient facts that show that John O'Keefe was not killed by Karen Reed would just get buried somewhere in the middle. Our job was to tease that out, which we did. Doesn't matter if they try to do it again. We'll do the same thing. Our job is to make sure that the truth gets out there.
I think I asked your parents the same question. If you're framed, someone's got to run that, direct that. Who is that person?
I think you know who that person is. I think there's people who are enabling and there's people who are actually.
Okay, chat. I asked Dr. Google. What is it called when an attorney charges a set amount? There's no fancy word. It's just called, so is it when an attorney charges a set amount for their services, it's typically referred to as a fixed fee or agreed pricing. This means the client and the lawyer agree on a specific sum for the work to be performed, regardless of the actual time spent. It's sometimes also called value-based costing. We learned something. There you go. Our brains can stop itching with it.
Actually moving pieces.
But is your theory that it's people inside that house, 34 Fairview, who sort of called the shots from the beginning, or someone high up in law enforcement?
I don't know the interconnections, the interpersonal relationships among these people. I have a strong personal opinion that what has motivated this persecution of me.
I know, Colours, but we were wondering what that word was. They're pro bono now, just for costs, expenses. Initially, I think Karen paid David Netti. Here, I'm going to be making this up, but I'm pretty sure she paid him $300,000. She had to sell a house, man. Initially, for the first trial, she paid them for the first trial, and now it's pro bono, just expenses.
Me is power. There were familiarities among players that never should have happened. There's a sleeve of homicide in the Norfolk DA's office, as there is in the other counties of Massachusetts. And yet the person assigned to investigate this case, ostensibly investigate this case, lives a mile down the street from the crime scene.
I hate that man. I
But
truly hate him.
I believe the players with the most influence are motivated more by power and playing God. And they're trying to play God with my life.
Not to protect people.
people are being protected. I don't know if the motivation was actually to protect those people, but it's a byproduct of it. I mean, there are names, and we know those names that were hidden from me. I only knew who was in that house from the rumor mill, from people I knew in Canton, and it ended up becoming true once we pushed and filed motions and flew the team in. And 2 years later, a year and a half later, we're getting police reports of names of people that were in that house that I did not know about, or they were trying to make sure I didn't know about early in 2022.
Colin was in the
One
house.
without the other. You can't have a motivation to put the case on Karen Read without also being motivated to protect yourself or to protect others that are with you. It would take a real investigation, a true investigation by their own folks to reveal who is part of this. Is there one person that's behind it? I don't think so. In my personal opinion, I think it's a combination of folks. But I don't think that we're ever going to see that true investigation because the people that are in power don't want the truth.
But isn't that what the
Hey, pause. We're a little bit past halfway in the interview. Let's let me see. Here. Wait. Fuck. Terribly non-professional. God damn it.
Now some music. The Supreme Leader decrees it.
That's me. I'm the Supreme Leader. Enjoy.
OnlyFan knows that they killed a man, an officer, a friend. OnlyFan knows Karen's innocent. OnlyFan is outraged till the end. OnlyFan, the shit goes round and around. 34 They killed a man, an officer, a friend. OnlyFan, yours Karen's innocent. OnlyFan is outraged till the end.
Boom. The number of people who leave because we play a song. How dare you? That's assault. Come on back. We're back.
Feds did.
That's ostensibly what the feds did and are continuing to do. I don't know the full contour of what the federal investigation is revealing, but I can certainly say that, to Karen's point, there were people that were never disclosed to us in any reports being in that home that weren't revealed until the federal investigators got involved, and some folks started getting cornered. And they realized, oh, hang on, I can't suppress this anymore. There are reasons why I have to now reveal this truth. And then ultimately it was revealed. Why is that? Why were folks being hidden from us in police reports, et cetera, as being in the house, as being pertinent to this investigation? They didn't do anything. Who the hell cares?
Do we know who all those people are now?
Sorry to Daniel's dirty paws. Mike is outraged by the cost per page of transcripts. Like outraged. Brooklyn, you've blown Micah's mind. Wait, let's go back. It's interesting. And Laura, a member for 5 months. Amazing. And Missy Mayhem, a member for 2 months. Yes. Thank you all for your continued support. I love you all very much. Yes, here we go. So, wait, scrolling. Anywhere from $7 to $15. And then Micah says, per page? Brooklyn very calmly says, yes, per page. Micah, that's insane. If you need it in a rush, it's more. What a racket, says Micah. Brooklyn, how can I be a vendor for these price print jobs? Lol. Frank Fax in the meantime says Boston strong, Commonwealth wrong. I like that. That's got a real ring to it. Make it merch. Micah says I need to look into this. Lol. So I thought you were outraged and outraged, but actually you're intrigued by the profiteering of it all. Perhaps you can get in on that money train. Cha-ching, Micah. Cha-ching. Perhaps you two could grift on the justice system and the public wanting to get documents. Perhaps.
Now, were they all part of the first
We
trial?
think we do.
Yeah, exactly. At least we think we do.
And by the way, Chad, I think it's probably half of the people
One of my favorite words.
that were in 34 Fairview, half of what we think the total number is, were interviewed for the first time
Fair.
with their defense attorneys, with their criminal defense attorneys. What a luxury. What a luxury. Some were interviewed in the first week of this case, the week following John's murder, in their attorneys' homes. Others were interviewed the fall of 2023 in their defense attorneys' offices. Convenient, and what a luxury.
And I've never seen that before either. We were talking earlier about things that are anomalous, an anomaly about this case. I've never seen that before, where like the entire panoply of eyewitnesses, supposedly eyewitnesses for the government, they'll lawyer up immediately. They're all interviewed with lawyers sitting there. Why? If you're just telling the truth, what do you need to lawyer up for?
Do you think it's just because of the exposure of this case, though?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's self-preservation.
Will you bring any new witnesses to the retrial? Will we see anyone new at the retrial from your side?
I think a lot of that depends on what we get from the Commonwealth. We're still waiting to get the full bucket of information that the Commonwealth is amassing for the second trial. But as soon as they let us know what their witness list looks like, then that will dictate in no small part what our witness list is going to look like. But I fully expect that there will be
They're in
some
the
new
bullpen.
witnesses. Yeah, we're not waiting on that. We're pretty good at figuring out that we can telegraph their punches. So we have not been sitting on our hands. I can put it that way. And will you see new faces? Yes, I expect you will.
We're 3 years removed from what happened. And you said that you're still receiving important evidence from the state. Why wouldn't have that been turned over for the first trial?
Because it's exculpatory.
That's the question we've been asking. Why wasn't this turned over during the first trial? And you probably
Right, Simi says, Micah, come on now, don't be a pussy. Stay up. It's trial eve, for fuck's sake. I didn't realize they all, said Simi, I didn't realize they all lawyered up to be questioned as witnesses. How guilty does that look? Jeez. What's his name? Reddington. Forgotten his first name. Kevin Reddington, Jennifer McCabe's attorney, was the defense attorney in the recent Inglot, what's his name? Turk trial. You can find that trial on the Trial Channel. By the way, same courtroom as Karen's trial, right? Bev's courtroom, but not Bev. Brooklyn's still blowing Micah's mind. An average hour is about 19 pages. It's a dirty business. I don't think you mean hour, but we get your point. I might say goodnight, Micah. Simi, don't encourage Micah to be an adult. Micah's still having his mind blown. I love that. No, you can't. Did you take it down? Oh. Record screech. Rewind. That trial is gone. Oh. Well, shit. Well, shit, the Trial Channel. What am I doing with my life? You're number one in my most played channels. You and Salty at the moment. Jockey for first place. And Joe Schmo.
will see that question posed.
Big brick. Yes, tomorrow is the day
that we will have before the court, before the trial starts. Because that's the right question.
Win-win colors.
Why the hell? You've been prosecuting this case for 3 years. We should have had every scrap of information available to you in our possession before the first trial. We have now learned that did not happen.
Karen, can you give me an example of something that you haven't?
Nope.
Well, the CPG video was just publicized.
He said, nope. Did you hear that?
Yeah, this isn't the place. Learned that did. Prosecuting this case for 3 years, we should have had every scrap of information available to you in our possession before the first trial. We have now learned that did not happen.
Karen, can you give me an example of something that you haven't?
Nope.
Well, the CPG video was just publicized. It's in a
this isn't the place to talk about it. We're about to
I
have
have
a
2
hearing.
words.
So I'd rather just.
This isn't going to air though till
I'd love that.
after.
But she'll probably be not deciding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. She might not decide it for weeks or months. So I'd rather defer that question.
You've asked the state's highest court to intervene and essentially dismiss the murder charge. How closely do you follow the decisions that come out every day from that court?
We pretty much take the pulse of that docket every day.
Mm-hmm.
We're very interested. We think that we have nothing but the deepest respect for the SJC. One of the beauties of the appellate court process is that the more elevated the courts go, the less associated they are with the local issues that are attendant to a particular prosecution, a particular courtroom, a particular subject matter. So they're by design supposed to be elevated to a point where they can just look at something antiseptically, look at it legally and factually, and make a decision. We're looking very, very forward to the SJC reviewing, ultimately making a decision about, and then coming out with a holding concerning the acquittal of Karen on count 1 and count 3, the murder charge and the leaving the scene with injury.
Motion to scream what the fuck. Granted says, I love how real AJ is and how comfortable they are with each other. They all spend so much time. It is like a partnership. I found this so beautiful to watch. Like, honestly, it filled my heart with joy and it gave me a sense of comfort. I don't know why. Micah says, agreed. They are a good team. I literally, in the description, it says, if you thought you couldn't possibly love Karen anymore, think again, because I don't know. I think she's amazing. Frothing. Stan Karen.
And when they do come out with that holding, my hope is that it's in our favor. It should be in our favor. We deeply believe legally,
yes, colors,
that it will be in Karen's favor.
I want to be their
and
friend.
That will change the complexion of the second trial significantly.
Karen, aside from the DA's office dropping the charges against you, which is not going to happen, is the SJC decision your best hope?
If the SJC rules in our favor, that'd be a big win. But day to day, Ted,
Maybe. I think
we
she might be an
don't plan
advocate
on
after.
that. Hope for the best, expect the worst. One benefit to the
Naked
SJC,
lunch,
to the
Micah.
appeal,
We're gonna have naked lunch with
to
Alessi.
the affidavits submitted on behalf
said
of the
what I
jurors
said.
that reached out to Alan and David, is it will hold a magnifying glass over the verdict, over the governing of the jurors, the logistics of it. So that's something we weren't expecting at the
Really?
first trial.
I didn't realize.
Things that were going on with the jury. We had issues with the verdict slip at the 11th hour. So this has helped us sort that out in advance of the second trial. So it has served a purpose, even if it's not the best outcome with the SJC.
So the jurors that came forward said that they found you not guilty on second-degree murder, but they were stuck on manslaughter. Why is that? Why do you think that there were people in that box that said, no, we believe Karen struck John?
Actually,
I did, Simi.
I believe, and part of this is a little guesswork and filling in blanks. But the jurors that came forward indicated that they weren't actually even stuck on manslaughter. They were stuck on a subordinate charge beneath manslaughter, which means by definition, they were instructed you have to find not guilty on manslaughter to even go to a subordinate charge. So as it stands, as we sit here today, the information that we have is that she was acquitted on count 1, acquitted on count 3, acquitted on the upper charge of count 2, and they were stuck on something lesser like a DUI or DUI with injury or something like that.
But that would still mean that there were people in that box who thought Karen hit John.
I think that there are, I don't think so, Ted. I don't believe that that's true. I believe that there were people, I think that we dispatched that notion in trial to the nth degree. I don't believe that there were actually jurors in the box who believed that the Commonwealth had proved beyond any and all reasonable doubt that she struck John with her car. I think what they thought was there is a tragic situation, a tragic outcome. A man lost his life, and that is tragic. It's deeply tragic for John, his family. And that there was drinking going on, drinking by Brian Albert, drinking by Brian Higgins.
Really? They were drinking? Wouldn't have thought. Brooklyn says Alessi. If anyone wants to take an Alessi count, although I don't know whether Brennan will actually refer to the other attorneys particularly often. That fucking grinds my gears. Alessi has huge environmental cases. He works for DL Piper. They worked on the Exxon gas leak case. Interesting. And yes, Simi, I did say naked lunch.
Drinking by...
Wait, naked lunch with a dictionary of some description. Laura Alessi came up in my People You May Know on Facebook yesterday. You want me to send you the link, Micah? Lol? Creep? That'd be creep. I'll be a creep. You can't be
everybody, including Karen Reed. And she's the one on trial. Given the fact that there was drinking going on and someone lost their life, I think that there were certain people on the jury who just decided, I don't want to say not guilty across the board.
I'll DM
Let's
you,
find something
weirdo.
lesser to see if we can do something to close that loop for John O'Keefe. I don't think it had really intellectually anything to do with Karen Reed actually striking John O'Keefe.
Correct.
Karen, would you like to see this case tried somewhere else? Moved out of Norfolk County, moved out of Massachusetts?
I'm not afraid of this case being tried in Norfolk County. I'm agnostic.
In terms of picking a jury for the next trial, I mean, it was a challenge the first time around. How the heck do you do it this time?
We're not looking for jurors that haven't heard about the case. That's going to be impossible. We're looking for jurors that haven't formed an opinion about the case, which is possible. And they may have, I know there are people in the jury pool that have maybe heard about the case tangentially or know my face or passed by it on the dial, but don't really know the evidence. I'm optimistic that those people exist and they'll hear the evidence and they'll see the truth. But I believe people in Norfolk County, I've seen it, and I'm not from Norfolk County. I didn't live there. I wasn't raised there, but they're smart and savvy, and they're passionate. And when they do hear about the case, most of my supporters, I would guess, are from Norfolk County proportionately, and they're intelligent. They see this for what it is by following the evidence really closely. So I just need jurors that'll do that. I haven't done it yet, but will be willing to do that.
You've spoken at length about this case and the circumstances that have happened. Why not take the stand?
I am not saying that I am not taking the stand. I felt confident in our case, in our defense, because a lot of our case was our cross-examination of these witnesses. And we made a game time decision, and I take the advice of my attorneys, but I'm not afraid of taking the stand. And I'm clearly not afraid of speaking, but I will not assign any genuine, truthful intentions to the prosecution. And I've already seen signs there. You know, they're playing hardball. So we'll weigh the pros and cons, and we'll make another second game time decision.
Do you think that this is personal for the DA's office?
Absolutely.
That they want a conviction more than probably any conviction they've ever gotten before?
Yes.
And there are certainly people, there are certainly people involved with the prosecution.
She
who
answered
want
that quickly,
exactly
didn't she?
I would venture to say there's not a single person in the Commonwealth at the prosecution level. I don't think there's a single person at the investigative level with the law enforcement who actually believes in their heart that they can prove this case against Karen beyond any and all reasonable doubt. I don't think that there's a soul at the prosecution involved with the prosecution that believes that. Not a soul. I believe this is more a trial of a vendetta, of personal animus, of trying to save face. I don't think anybody there, honestly, put him down, strap him to a lie detector. You think you can prove this case beyond any reasonable doubt that Karen Reed did this? Nope, I don't think so. So yeah, I think there's a lot of personal interest and personal animus that has gotten in the way of the prosecution and the Commonwealth doing their duty, their sworn duty, not to prosecute someone unless they believe they can do so to a jury, an objective jury of her peers beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't think any one of them think that.
Karen, is it your understanding that no
Pause. Michael says the biggest shame in this case is where are all the Boston cops that know what is going on here? Yeah, I agree. That blue wall is very high, and there's got to be something to do with Brian Albert and his menacing presence, even though he's not there anymore, right? Sorry, Ted Daniel, for the dirty pause.
nobody in the Norfolk DA's office would try this case, and that's why they went to Hank Brennan?
We've heard rumors to that effect, and it was from some of the same people that told us Hank Brennan was being recruited within weeks of the mistrial. So I lend some credence to those rumors.
I hate that man. I truly am.
They're just rumors. And also, no one in the DA's office is trying this case for the retrial.
This case is
exactly what we want it for.
Is that for the rest of your life, or will one day you just want to put it all behind you?
I don't think I can, even if I wanted to, and I'm okay with that. It's more important, this fight, than anything I've done by a wide margin, and it's made me realize that this happens all the time. And I'm just fortunate enough to be able to fight back. But what's happened to me has happened too easily, too swiftly, with seemingly no checks and balances other than the ones we can bring, that this can't be the first, it can't be the first time. And it's 2025 in Massachusetts, and it's happening right before everyone's eyes. It's hiding in plain sight. So this is a problem that I hope.
I'm going to rewind this because it's an important point she's making. But Colin says, I'm so excited about Garrett Wing's testimony. He is such an animated and interesting presenter. He is. Is he a rebuttal witness? Is he going to be, yes, he's going to be in the defense's case, right? Right. Now, let me just go back a little bit.
Swiftly with by a wide
Entity. Is that for the rest of your life, or will one day you just want to put it all behind you?
I don't think I can, even if I wanted to, and I'm okay with that. It's more important, this fight, than anything I've done by a wide margin.
I love her so much.
And it's made me realize that this happens all the time. And I'm just fortunate enough to be able to fight back. But what's happened to me has happened too easily, too swiftly, with seemingly no checks and balances other than the ones we can bring, that this can't be the first, it can't be the first time. And it's 2025 in Massachusetts, and it's happening right before everyone's eyes. It's hiding in plain sight. So this is a problem that I hope I'm here to address. And even if I'm not, it will be addressed. We're doing it right now. Regardless of the outcome,
Right,
which
smarter hurry
will
too
be an
easily.
acquittal, eyes have been opened. That's why Alan and I are sitting here, is there's interest, and people are evaluating their law enforcement and their elected officials and their district attorneys with a more critical eye than they were before. And that's a bigger impact and a purpose that I could have, even if it's been very, very difficult for me and the people that are closest to me.
Something that the prosecution has recently been focused on were calls you made to your mother overnight. What were those calls about?
For God's sake, pause. Micah, you're so polite. I apologize to all the women in the chat. I actively try to avoid the use of the word girl when referring to adult females. I hope my yes, girl comments were not offensive. Micah, not at all. I mean, not at all. Not at all. I think I personally think of myself as a girl. If anyone calls me a woman or a lady, definitely not a lady. Like, let's be honest. But a woman, I'm like, wait, what? Where's woman? Oh, me. I'm a girl. Much love from Smarter Hari. Anyway, you're Micah. You can get away with close to murder here in this chat, surely. Colors says it happens all over the country. That's why high effing standards for prosecutors is so important. Saint Lady Shorty, lol. Yes, but also don't forget my doctorate, Saint Lady Dr. Shorty. Saint Miss Lady Dr. Shorty. It goes something like that, apparently.
Well,
anyone who spent any time with me throughout my life knows I'm incredibly close to my parents. And I was very troubled to put it. You've heard the voicemails. It was a blizzard.
Respect.
There were young children unattended. And John, uncharacteristically, when I say uncharacteristically, I mean he's never done that before at that hour in those conditions. And I was panicked. I was torn between, did something go wrong, or is he purposely ignoring me and taking advantage of me to go home to the kids while he stay out drinking? And as I do, and
Mike is
I wish I did it less, yes, but now I need her more than ever, as I normally would do. I'd reach out to my mother for, what do you think's happening? And I, reach out to them every day now that that night just, it's like I never woke up from it. So
I think
pause. Colors. This is because you haven't done your research concerning colors. John has had business to attend to, right, Clay? That last little bit of the waterfall video that you see, is it Higgy points to John across the bar, and John's like shaping up, like, yep, he absolutely had business to attend to. Makes me feel kind of sick.
the fact that the prosecution seems to be focusing on those calls and trying to wrap Karen's parents into this just shows a level of desperation that shows or suggests that the prosecution understands how thin, paper thin, chiffon thin their case is. They can't prove this case, and so they're just sort of desperately looking to scattershot other information to make innuendo about why would she call her mother. Like,
Pammy storms in with a zinger. Hi, Pammy. By the way, thank you so much for your coffees the other night. I'm sorry I missed them, and thank you so much. You're in the draw for next weekend. Pammy says, still, I wish I may. I wish I might. I be Jackson's beard tonight. Oh, I love you so much.
she calls her parents all the time. There's no there. Doesn't mean that the prosecution isn't going to look and make suggestions about it, but it's a desperate ploy, and there's nothing there.
What would surprise me or the people watching this about something that's transpired over the last 3 years?
I don't think so. I think one of the things that we've tried to do on the defense team from the beginning is pull that veil back, pull the curtain back, and show all the warts and blemishes of the Massachusetts State Police, the Canton Police Department, the investigative techniques that they used or didn't use, the Commonwealth's prosecution of a case like this. We wanted everybody to see everything. And we were pretty successful in that in terms of the presentation in front of the first jury. We intend to do it again in front of the second jury. So the thing that's most shocking is the full universe of information that now the community has in front of it. We have gotten call after call after call, email after email, text after text from community members who don't know us, certainly don't know me. I'm from California, saying this kind of thing happened to my family. This kind of thing happened to me. This kind of thing happened to my son. This kind of thing happened to my father, my mother. And nobody would ever look at it. Nobody would believe us. Nobody would listen.
Back. Hi.
Thank God you folks have found the platform to show what actually is happening in our community. That's what has been most surprising. And it's there for everybody to see.
What is your relationship with
Ted Daniel? Akasha, wet blanket Akasha, jokes. Okay, all of you thirsty for AJ bitches. He is so busy, he would just be sad and lonely all of the time. He's also married. And we are not homewreckers here. We are not. Oh my God, Candy. Pammy, hi, mustache ride? Ted Daniels is going, wait, what? Record scratch.
with Adam Lally and Hank Brennan? Is it cordial?
There's no relationship.
I mean, you have to deal with them back and forth.
Did you hear that?
Not her.
Not me.
Lit chat, pay attention. I know we're feral because shorties. But listen to this. I'll go back to Ted Daniels' comment. Question. It's a question. And listen. Oh my God, the throat clearing is fucking real, y'all. Wait.
You folks have found the platform to show what actually is happening in our community. That's what has been most surprising. And it's there for everybody to see.
What is your relationship with Adam Lally and Hank Brennan? Is it cordial?
There's no relationship.
I mean, you have to deal with them back and forth.
I hate that man. I truly hate him.
Not me.
Okay. Your relationship with Hank Brennan?
Completely professional.
Okay.
Cordial, civil, professional. And that's all I expect. If he's going to prosecute this case, the only thing I expect from him
blankets,
is
Akasha,
professionalism, which he has given me. It doesn't get, at least with me and with David and with Liza, it doesn't get personal. We deal with what we need to deal with in the courtroom.
Was that the same way with Adam Lally?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
By and large.
By and large.
I disagree vehemently, vigorously with their prosecution of this case. Yeah. They know that. I haven't made that, that is out there. But in terms of just day-to-day interaction, I expect the highest level of professionalism from them, and they get it from us.
It's business.
It's business.
State police have had people follow your drivers?
Yep.
Wow.
Our drivers have been approached by the
Wow.
state police. They're no longer well, some are no longer my drivers because of that. I've had very close friends, had their cell phone records subpoenaed for an indictment that never happened. There's a lot of
I got you.
attempts to glean more about our team by the state police. There's probably, I wouldn't put it past them to some things going on as I'm sitting here.
Have you ever been followed?
I don't know. My eyes are akimbo all the time. I look at law enforcement differently, more warily. I don't know that I'm being followed. I've been tracked. I mean, I've been tracked on flights. I've been tracked when I've stayed in hotels. This is in.
How do you know you're being tracked?
I know from affidavits from the state police at the Norfolk DA's office when they were investigating me last.
Brooklyn says she doesn't drink anymore. I hope so. No, she does. I don't think she drinks heavily. I don't know. And if she does, that's okay. So she can't drive, so she can do whatever she wants. There's the aunties made much of Karen and her defense team out in Norfolk County during the last trial with drinks at their table, like alcoholic drinks. I don't think she. I think, who knows, but. I don't think I reckon she wouldn't get like plastered. AJ's wife is, of course, her name is Lisa. Like, let's just put her on blast. All the best people are called Lisa. Just saying. And Shorty. If your middle name is Shorty, you're also one of the best. Not the best, but one of the best.
Last year, I was with my closest friend trying to get away from Massachusetts, and little did I know at the time, I learned about it afterwards, that they knew what flight I was on. They knew when I landed. They knew when I came back.
I don't know about that. Is that true?
It's disturbing.
I believe
it's invasive, and it's desperate.
Getting back to sort of just distilling, what is the one thing in this case that you believe proves your innocence?
John's body, no bruise, 6,000-pound full-size SUV. Not a bruise on his body.
Not a bruise.
Not a fracture below his head.
The medical examiner did not rule his death a homicide, correct?
Correct.
Was it undetermined?
Yes.
And that doesn't get revisited, correct?
Oh, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck trying to revisit
You
that.
heard it here, folks.
I don't think it'll be revisited by her. I mean, she came to the decision she came to the decision of. Right. So I don't think she's not gonna. And if she does deviate from that decision, she's gonna have to answer for that, and that will be an incredibly uncomfortable situation. I don't think that will happen.
Well, I'd be fucked then.
But it's very telling that their own best expert, as it pertains to the physical evidence surrounding John and John's injuries, did not rule this a homicide. And they have the burden of proof. That's one of the galling factors in this entire thing, is the Commonwealth knows that their own expert or experts will not support their prosecution of Karen. Then dismiss the case. Do the right thing. Just do the right thing. And it's shocking that they won't.
John's niece and nephew, who he was taking care of, essentially testified against you in the trial. How hard was that?
I knew that was coming because I read what they testified to in the initial indictment almost 3 years ago. And they're part of a well that was poisoned almost as soon as he died. And they were 3 years younger then and impressionable and surrounded by adults that care for them and provide for them. And I was no longer one of those adults. And it's unfortunate, and I hope and wish for the best for them, but I've long come to terms with what's happened to the children.
Has Paul Keefe ever made any statements to you walking by or anything?
He sends me, he hasn't in a while, but he's attempted to send me Facebook messages. It's ironic because there's a stay away order, and yet I hear, they've attempted to send me messages, and as soon as I see the name comes up, I just delete it. I'm not interested in anything he has to say to me.
Did you hear that, chat? I'm going to skip it back. Paul O'Keefe occasionally tries to contact. Yes, Missy heard it. Missy heard it, right? Let's go back.
He hasn't in a while, but he's attempted to send me Facebook messages. It's ironic because there's a stay away order, and yet I hear, they've attempted to send me messages, and as soon as I see the name comes up, I just delete it. I'm not interested in anything he has to say to me.
What do you think might be the
fuck's sake. I don't think it would be a troll. Remember, he also reaches out to Aiden occasionally. Turtle Boy. So I think he gets on the piss, on the beers, and decides to get all Paul O'Keefe on the shit.
tenor of those messages?
Allegedly.
Negative, volatile. I mean, there was some volatility in court, and I think I'd attribute the same cause to Paul's emotions as I would to the children's.
Can you feel him staring at you?
I honestly don't even know he's there anymore. I mean, I'm aware that his immediate family's in the courtroom, but there's days, you know, we come home from hearings or we came home from court, and someone close to me will say, "Was that so-and-so on the O'Keefe side?" And I said, I honestly, I almost look through them at this point. I know they're there, and my family would be there. My family is there, but
I wonder, because Paul O'Keefe has not been in some of the most recent pre-trial motions hearings. Exactly, Micah, because Yannetti is a human shield and blocks him, which makes my heart is full whenever it almost makes me cry, but that isn't hard. I wonder if Paul will be there. He has to be. He'll be a witness. Do you think? Okay, here's one. Chat. Do you think one's in the chat? If you think Paul will be the first witness again, do you think so? Do you think so? I think probably yes, but Hanky's it's a whole new trial, Mr. Jackson.
But the O'Keefe's presence, Paul sitting there, doesn't impact me. It doesn't bother me. That's John's brother. But I couldn't tell you from one day to the next what color shirt he was wearing.
If you were framed, who's calling the shots? You know, there's so many levels there, right? There's the troopers on the ground, there's the prosecutors, there's the...
Pause. Who do you think will be the first witness, Brooklyn? Hi, Shelley. Pokemomo. Shelley's in the house. Who do you think, Brooklyn? If not Paul?
DA.
That's the problem, is this is just us talking, but that's the problem with answering that question or trying to narrow that question. And she can answer it whichever way she wants to, but it can't be one. It's not one person.
They're separated.
It's just not, there's not a
left
singular tip of the spear.
Do you want to say,
Allegedly.
I mean, if that's the...
That is my opinion.
Yeah.
Just,
I want to hear you, obviously.
I just want to add to that. I mean, I already answered it very pointedly, but there's a garbage in, garbage out problem that forensic scientists or civilians or even local law enforcement that's assisting the investigators, their output and their determinations are only as good as what they're given, what they're testing, what they're measuring, what they're photographing. So I don't believe it's necessarily
Clay
40 different people, but I think it's garbage in, garbage out.
5, 10 years from now, where is Karen Reed? What is she doing?
I don't know what I'll be doing, but I'll be busy, whatever I'm doing. And I care and I think more about whom will I be with. And God willing, it's my parents and the people who've seen me through this. And I hope to meet more of the people that are helping to pull our team through.
Do you have the capacity to find someone new one day, or has that all just been destroyed by all of this?
No, it's not destroyed. I didn't do anything wrong. And I cared for someone and he cared for me, and it ended tragically. And tragic things happen to relationships every day. To 67 relationships are exponential this morning or last night. So I will not be permanently broken. I'm not broken temporarily. I've just been sidelined from what I thought I was doing on this planet, and it wasn't what I thought I was supposed to be doing. But there's been no irreparable damage to me or what I want out of life or what I want to make me happy.
Did you always know that you had this strength?
I could not have known that I could deal with what I'm dealing
gonna start
with, but
crying.
I've never been deterred by anything in my life. And I have had challenges, not quite as big as this, but health challenges that severely incapacitated me and ruined my my physical quality of life. This is more of a mental obstacle now, but I'm invigorated by challenges. It makes me feel stronger to overcome things. And I think part of the reason I can adapt
Same
to
butterfly.
this new normal I'm in is because I've had to do it before. And I've been strengthened by the events in my life that brought me to 2022.
The hundreds of thousands of people who might be watching this, what would you like to say to
I'm
them?
literally holding back tears.
Thank you to the vast majority of them. And like I've said earlier, only people very close to me knew the truth for a very long time, living day to day without a job, without anything to really focus on but this case, and know that even my neighbors who I could see out my window didn't really know the circumstances. And to have
Heavy.
hundreds of thousands hear this and be enlightened is just a massive relief. And the support that people come up to me, to my family. Alan and I had a meal paid for in the North End, and it was, I don't know the last time I've done anything but tip a waiter. And that generosity, that's all helping fuel this. It helps me spiritually, and it helps me financially, and I want to thank the vast majority of those people.
That's it, chat. Wasn't that beautiful? Shorties, wasn't that beautiful? Bless her heart. Princey says, I hated that question. Because Pammy said, a relationship, a second being, does not define a person. I agree. But also humans are programmed to be to not be solo beings. Doesn't define us, but it's nice to have love. She is just amazeballs. Girl ain't got no quit. Wasn't there more? Nope, that was it. That was it. That was the full interview. It was the end. The ends. She has so much support. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Let me take these earballs out. So it's trial eve, chat. I'm not going to keep you up any longer. Micah is way past Micah's bedtime, according to Micah. No, more. Look, y'all, we have to be well rested for tomorrow. Did they walk around outside? No, it was over. Hammered, drunk. Micah, there's so many reasons why I love you, girl. and hammered drunk is one of them. Well, glad to see you all before trial. Eek. Yes. Cheryl says she's got to get up at 5 a.m, so I should hit the hay soon. Cheryl, are you going to go to court tomorrow? Cheryl is close enough to be at court, right? Yes, let's rest up for the big day tomorrow. Micah, in a few zip. There is more on the body in the snow episode. Yes, but we can't play that because copyright. Sadly. Thank you so much, Clay. Thank you, everybody. Yes, Cheryl's going to be there. We'd love to hear in from you. Drop us some photos in the Discord, Cheryl. We'd love you to do that. Micah isn't a girl, though. No, I know. Lol. I know that. I put a sleepy patch on. Missy Mayhem got some of the sleeping patches that I got. Are you loving them, Missy? I slept for 9 hours last night. How long for the first SideBAHHH tomorrow? I don't know. There better not be any objections during the opening, right? That was great, Lisa. Thank you so much. Love your streams. Thank you so much. Colors is not a mod. Okay. KKKKK. It's my first time trying it. I whacked on 2 the first time. No need. I hope it gives you all the beautiful rest. Enjoy. First 15 minutes for the first SideBAHHH in Witnesses. How exciting. Is it exciting? It's bad to say we're excited. But it is exciting because we're here now. Karen's here now. No more waiting around. No more any of it. Like game on. Game on. I'll see you all tomorrow night for a recap. 8 Eastern. Cheryl, I'll post them in Discord. They're like, you can get them on Amazon. Easy peasy. I have to go and watch Mr. Shmo. Oh, is he live now? Okay. Game on. Chad, I love you all very much. Go and watch the song we wrote together. It's called SideBAHHH. It's and I'm going to make a free Karen Reid playlist. Probably going to write some more songs. Let's go. Thank you, mods. Thank you, what the fuck, backstage. Thank you, friends. Thank you, shorties. Get your rest. We need to have well-rested souls to cope with Hank Brennan. Hank Brennan. I love you. Free Karen Reid.
I love you all so very much. We had a blast just chatting and stuff. Things may have gone a bit off the rails. Professional when all else fails. 'Cause chat is babe, so much to say. Emotes and all the caps out. May have been cheese, bit faster please. The time has come, Camp Shorty out. We're skating through all the tough things, learning about this and that, defense motions, prosecution, and narcissistic twats. 'Cause chat is babe, so much to say. Emotes and all the all caps out. May have been cheese, bit faster please. The time has come, Camp Shorty out. Community, just you and me. Occasionally, Buster and Poppy. It's a whole thing. Miss Shorty swing. Together we make each other happy.